Alright, what's good guys? ATG Reacts, what's going on? We had a little bit of a disaster happen today. So we actually watched episodes 11, 12, and 13 today, but somehow the video got lost. So no reaction. Now the only thing I could think of was to quickly just run through the episodes and just kind of go over them, kind of summarize them. Because I'm not gonna sit here and watch the episodes back over and pretend like I didn't see it. You know, that's goofy. That's just not what we do. All right, so we're just gonna go back over the episodes really quickly. We're not even necessarily gonna replay them. We're just gonna kind of skip through it, kind of talk about it. So this is it's not Reishi. I forgot how to say his name, but basically we find out that he was in love with his sister. His sister gets killed by this other dragon because she basically refused to submit to him and say that she will love no one else but him. She just couldn't say it because the only person she did truly love was her brother, and that she would only love was her brother, right? So he ends up cutting her down right then and there. Let's just keep going through it. He ends up fighting Hoken in single combat at a certain point, but we don't get there yet. So they end up developing this new plan to attack the enemy on 3 separate fronts, right? Hoken's team, Shin's team, and then the last one ended up being I can't even remember now when I just watched it. I think the last force ended up being I don't even know how to say the guy's name, but he's one of Toe's commanders. Alright. I don't know why it's taking so long to buffer. So he ends up getting him right here. So Hoken actually got a few good hits on him. He was starting to get a read on him. He was starting to develop a pattern to counter him. But he got stabbed pretty badly here. But it wasn't as deep as, you know, it wasn't as deep as all the other people he's been doing dirty. Like all the other soldiers this guy's been killing, it's literally like a jab, and it goes straight through and through, a hole on both sides, right? This wasn't that deep. He ends up, you know, saying that he's gonna defeat him. His commander wanted to, or his lieutenant wanted to retreat. The guy that his dad sent as reinforcements wanted to retreat, but they ended up just kind of believing in him because he kind of said, "Hey, I'm not retreating. I'm going to defeat this guy." Ends up beating him. The only reason he ends up beating him is because this dragon literally has no will to live. Like he's just waiting for someone to kill him so he can go be with his sister. And basically what Hoken was explaining is that his weakness is he does not protect his vital spots at all. His heart, you know, he doesn't protect his head. Like he doesn't protect he kind of just leaves it open for the enemy to exploit it because he has no will to live. He's just fighting on autopilot until he dies, right? That's the only reason really and truly that Hoken won. Otherwise, if this guy wasn't so heartbroken, if his sister didn't die, he wouldn't have lost. Straight up. This is kind of where he talks about it right here. I think this is where he gets him. Yeah, straight through the heart. Boom. Go straight through him. And then all these soldiers are like in shock. They're like, "Who is this guy?" And then we get to Shin. He's fighting Gaimo, getting absolutely cooked. He's putting up a good fight, but I'm not even sure that Gaimo is even going all out, right? I don't think he's actually putting his 100% into it. I think if he really wants to or wanted to, he probably could kill Shin. That's just my feeling, but can't say for sure. Let's see what else happens at the end here. Okay, so they make a beeline for the main camp. And these guys keep squaring off with each other in single combat. So the whole plan was that Kairo Tang came up with was to use Shin as bait and then have Kyokai and I guess eventually the other two forces to make a beeline for the enemy's headquarters and to go after how do you say his name? So Feng Ming, which I believe it's Go Ho Mei is how you say his name, to make a beeline towards him and take him out. Now I was saying to myself, like, okay, even if they do get to him, like, can he fight, right? Will he be able to hold his own? And then that other dragon, Reishi, I believe his name is, his master, I thought he was there, but I was incorrect. I forgot that he's actually on the battlefield with To, about to go against him. So Gohome is by himself right now, right? So we'll go to episode 12. My router's really far from my computer, so the buffering time is kind of crazy. So this is where I guess she's telling him about the plan. And essentially, they were gambling on... She was gambling on reinforcements coming to save Shin. Right? Otherwise, if the reinforcements didn't come in time, Shin would basically die with all of his men right there. Reinforcements do end up popping up. It ended up being Long Guo's army from the next battlefield over. This is when she came here asking them to come and help for reinforcements beforehand. He ends up having to retreat on orders from his tactician, essentially, because they're all making a beeline for their headquarters. Now, this is when he finds out that there's 3 different forces making their way to them. He finds out that Ziban Reishi, I don't know how to say his name, spear guy, find out that he got taken out, which was a shocker to everyone. Kyokai ends up doing her flash step. We'll call it flash step. Let's get to it. Somewhere around here. Okay, that's what she did it already. One rider comes and skewered it. So she ends up just jumping off her horse, and she just starches these guys. Just starches them. Makes it all the way into the camp. And then I already could tell, even before they show his face, like I could tell it obviously wasn't him. But then we got a little glimpse, right, of something. And I didn't realize what it was until afterwards. But you guys will see it right here. Right when she's getting into the camp, she notices a soldier running away. That's actually Goho Mei right there, which we've never seen him before without the helmet, right? She ends up finding out because this guy, it shows on his face, he's like no poker face whatsoever. But Shin ends up noticing right here, noticing a force, a random unit riding away. So he ends up pursuing these guys, right? Now this was just hilarious. So this is his master here, Reishi. They all found out that, you know, Zibai died, but they all realized that there's a weakness in our plan. The weakness in our plan is that we've left our main army open with no reinforcements, right? So their plan now was to go directly and attack To with these two, and then the other dragon that they have, the guy who's dressed all in red armor. But remember, Shin saw this unit riding away, so Shin ends up popping up right here out of nowhere. Right? And then the funniest shit happens. But I guess, okay, yeah, it happens in the next episode. So we get to 13. This is a shitty summary, by the way, but just rock with me, alright? Alright, so this guy just keeps getting away by the skin of his teeth. So Shin comes up, and look what he does. Right here. So Shin doesn't know who he is, because again, they haven't necessarily seen him, and then on top of that, not with his helmet off. Right? So he goes and he looks at his master and tells him, "Go, sir, run away." And then his master's like, "You son of a..." Boom! Gets cut down. So now, mind you, this is another one of the dragons. So for him to get cut down like this is kind of insane. But what I was saying was, because I was thinking to myself, Hoken is going to get all the glory. Not Hoken, Oho is going to get all the glory because he took out one of the dragons. No one else did anything like major like that. And then I kind of realized afterwards, well, actually, technically, Shin killed one of the dragons as well. But they made fun of it like towards the ending of the episode or somewhere in the middle of the episode. They kind of acknowledged that. So he gets away. He talks about how he's now the reigning commander. There's no one else left. He's a new generation, etc., etc. His all of the dragon's men are now under his control. That guy's now under his control. Wei retreats, so we're victorious. And then here they start talking about how this guy, Shin accidentally kills one of the dragons, but he's like, it's not enough for him. Like he'll take it, but it's not enough for him. He wanted to kill Guy Mo, right? So I'll take what glory he had, and this guy's just like pissed that he's so nonchalant about it. He's always injured. He got injured badly. I feel like this guy's always bedridden after every war. It's crazy. What else happened? And then the episode completely did a shift. We ended up shifting from, okay, so before we get to there, they decide that Shongyong, they're gonna make it into a full-on base, and their plan is to launch all of their attacks on Wei from this base. Like this is gonna be their headquarters. So this is like the beginning of their mission to actually conquer Wei and make Wei acclimate or assimilate into Qin. This is the first step towards unifying the Middle Kingdom in a sense, like the first big major step. But then we end up taking a whole shift. We end up taking a shift from, well, we do see Riboku or Limu, can't remember how to say his name. They were talking strategy for a little bit, trying to figure out exactly what to do, saying like, Qin has become stronger, while Chu is actually probably in the background, kind of just like strengthening their army, right? Slowly but surely. And then we end up getting to the capital, and Dowager Queen makes an appearance, and she just comes in and she just absolutely screws up everything. Like she just makes a shit show. So she comes in and she proposes that her faction take control over Shuyong and I think it's Shangyang, right? Like they take control completely over those places, and she ends up giving control of it over to this guy that she brought, this eunuch, but I don't think he's actually a eunuch, and I'll show you why later on in the episode. And I thought he looked familiar, but I don't really know who it is, but this guy here knows who he is. A male prostitute that Lu Bui or Ryofyu smuggled into the inner palace. So that's who that is, right? And then Dowager Queen is like, okay, Ryofyu, is this acceptable to you? And then he's like, yeah, of course. So the whole issue here is, it's like Ace has no power whatsoever, in the sense of like he can just be outvoted. It's not like if he can just make the what's the word I'm looking for, executive decision on anything really. It's like he's just a vote until he gets crowned king, until this crowning ceremony. So that's why Ryofyu needs to make his move before then, because once that happens, there's no avenue politically where he can take over as king, other than actually just assassinating, Zheng. Which, if he does that, like, it's gonna be difficult for him to take over after that, because it's like everyone's gonna be against him. The people are gonna be against him. All the factions are probably gonna be against him if he goes about it that way. So he has to do it politically, and it has to be done before the crowning ceremony. See, do you have any opinion on the Chancellor? Blah, blah, blah. I thought so. Ratata, ratata, ratata. She leaves. doesn't even acknowledge her son or even look at him, right? And he mentions that later on in the episode. And then his, I guess she's probably his wife now. She kind of mentions about how their daughter hasn't even seen their grandmother yet, or vice versa. And he was like, yeah, it's kind of true actually when you think about it. They talk about how Ryofyu and that guy that she said that is going to be controlling things with her, they kind of knew each other, and we know that now. They revealed it to us that Ryofyu was the one who brought that guy in, right? But it gets weirder than that. Like, none of this I expected. All of this came out of left field. All of this was just like, what? Like, what is happening, right? So he sends a Vermilion Slayer, the guy earlier that was deducting. He's like, where do I know that face from? He sends a Vermilion Slayer to get information. The Vermilion Slayer gets here and sees these two together. So is he a eunuch? Who knows? And then on top of that, it's like they have kids, right? 2 kids. And then out of way out of left field, an old face appears. He gets shot. So the Vermilion Slayer gets shot with a poison dart, right? So already you're like, poison dart. And then you get a little glimpse of Mutang or Muta. I cannot believe this guy lived. What a throwback from season 1. So it has to be him. It has to be him. So boom, shoots that guy dead. And that's where we leave off. That's where we ended, right? So that was a super quick. I super glossed over that, but that's basically the last 3 episodes. Now I was saying that it's very possible that we get some promotions now, because Ohong killing that guy, that dragon, is a huge deal. Shin killing the other dragon, even though it was different, but still a huge deal. Are we going to see them get promoted? Are we going to see them get promoted to generals? Who knows? Because the whole point of this battle, as To had said episodes before, it's for these guys to actually prove themselves and to actually put their stamp on the scene as like, hey, we're not just up and comers anymore. We're like, we are the next general. Like, we are the next people to become generals. We're not, like, we are kin, basically, essentially. We are the next 6 greats, of kin that are coming up. And this is like their first official test, really and truly, where they're like their single battles are gonna dictate whether or not it was like they took control of the war. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Like, everything was riding on them. They made the plan. They made the decision. They're the ones directly in the front line. Everything depended on them. This was like their war, essentially, and they proved themselves. They definitely did. The only thing is they didn't get Gohomei's head, but they definitely did a lot of damage to Wei. A lot of damage, right? At the end of the day, they got how do you say it? Shangyang, not Shangyang, Shuwang, whatever. The base that they're gonna be using now and building up and building walls around. That was the whole key, and they got it. So it's a W. It would be sick to see them get promoted, but I'm not sure that'll happen yet. Maybe it's too early for them to be promoted to generals. Having a hard time talking right now. I'm tired. What else? Maybe they get more treasures. Maybe Shin gets a bigger house. Maybe he gets some armor. Maybe he gets, who knows, right? Maybe he gets some land, right? I'm thinking they're gonna get some rewards after this whole situation. But the only issue is they can't go back to the capital now. They have to stay. I believe they have to stay at Zhongyong, and they have to help defend there while all of the workers build up a fortress. So they gotta defend the attacks from Wei, which Wei did attacking actually while they were building. So they can't go back to the capital yet, which sucks because of what's going on there right now. Zhang could use all the allies he can get, right? He can use all the military aid he can get as well. So that's where we're at. It kind of sucks. I actually did the 3 episodes just back to back to back. I don't even know what happened. I can tell you guys a full story. Essentially, I deleted the video because I was trying to clean up my files, and then I'm like, okay, no, I gotta go back in and restore it. So I went to my recycle bin. I restored it from my recycle bin, but then the video is just nowhere to be found. It did not get restored to the original location, and when I try searching for it throughout my computer, I cannot find it. So I'm sure maybe there's a way. I'm sure there's a way to do some type of file digger, or some type of recovery program or something I could do, but I'm just like, you know what? I could even maybe do like a restore point if my computer has one. I didn't even check that, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. I'll just do like a quick summary, and we'll call it there, and we'll try to pick up from the next episodes. All right. Hard luck. It sucks. I was pissed off, actually. I'm not gonna lie. That pissed me off, but it is what it is. Shit happens. Shit happens. I'm not the first person to lose content. I know. I remember, like, this reminded me of a story of a guy that I used to follow that did fitness content. Actually, I'll tell you who it is if anybody knows fitness content, who's been in that, following fitness content from the old days. His name is Christian Guzman, CG. This was more than 15 years ago. I remember him talking about how he had lost a whole video somehow. They lost the whole video. The video was fully edited, and back then they were doing like really professional edits that took hours, I believe, to actually get done. And I remember him just expressing how frustrating it was to lose that content, so it does happen. Shit happens. But that's it. ADG Reacts. I am out. I will catch you guys tomorrow for episode 14, and maybe we'll do 14, 15, 16, depending on, it all depends on what's happening in those episodes, and if I feel like I need to continue, or it makes sense to continue, or I don't want to wait, so we'll see. But that's it for now. Peace.